This is a video on how to make a tessellation at the proficient level. At the proficient level, you can use a square, a hexagon, or a parallelogram. For this example, we are going to make a hexagon. To make the hexagon, you need a goniometer or an angle ruler. Since I know that a hexagon has vertices that are 120 degrees, I want to open my goniometer up to 120 degrees until this line lines up with 120. I'm going to set it down here, close to the bottom so that I have enough room, and I'm just going to trace. Now each time I want to start from the same number. So I'm going to start at 1 here and go all the way to the vertex. Once I'm there, I'm going to just trace a little bit up, and then I'm going to pick up and move. I want to make sure that my goniometer line stays at 120, and then I'm going to turn this. Since I started at 1 before, I'm going to want to line up this vertex at 1. So I line it up at 1. It's already traced here, so I want to continue it to the vertex and then just a little bit on each side. I'm going to do that every single time, spinning and turning, and each time I turn, I want to line up my vertex with my 1. And I'm going to do that until I have 6 vertices and 6 sides. And that will give me a regular hexagon, because regular hexagons have congruent sides and congruent angles. And once I'm to the last side, I just connect it. And that will also measure 120 degrees. Once I have made my hexagon, I can put my angle ruler to the side, and I'm going to cut out my hexagon. Now I want to be careful that I'm being very exact. I'm not messing up my vertices. I want them to be nice points and not accidentally cut them off. Now that I have my hexagon, I can make my design. So I choose one side here to draw any design. When I draw my design, I want to go from one vertex all the way across to the other vertex. I want to make sure so that way when I make my design, it lines up where I move it. So this design, I'm just going to make a curve because that is what I'd like. Okay. Once I have made my design, I'm going to label it Design A and Side A. This is going to move and it's going to flip. So when I cut this out, I want to make sure that I line up at the vertex on both sides very, very carefully. So that way my corners will line up when I tape it. So once I cut this out, and if I need to take my time, I will go slowly so that my vertex is exactly right. I'm going to pause right here. Since I want it to be right at the corner, I'm going to start from this side so I get it right in the corner. There we go. And now. Wonderful. So now that I've cut it out, I'm going to slide it down. That's a translation. And I'm going to flip it or reflect it. That is why this is called a reflection tessellation, because I will reflect it. Once I've got it reflected, I'm going to tape it very carefully. If your tape is too long, just take your scissors and cut it. When I tape, I want to make sure I line up the corners very carefully. I don't want my edges to overlap or have extra space. So I want to get them very, very close. Okay. Once I have it all taped, take your piece of paper. You're going to put your template down anywhere that you would like to begin. And you are going to hold it down very carefully wherever you decide to start while you trace so that it doesn't move. You're going to take your pencil and you're going to trace all the way around the entire shape. If I make a mistake, then I can erase it. Now, once I have done this, I'm going to lift up my template to make it fit again. Notice that these don't match. That's because I need to reflect it to make it match again, so I can line it up exactly and then trace again. You'll keep doing this, making sure you flip. Oops, and see, I lost my place, so I'm gonna line it back up exactly. There we go. And keep tracing. And you will keep tracing until you cover your whole paper, and each time you do, make sure that you flip so that it lines up correctly.